Welcome back everybody, hope you're doing quite well. In this video I'm going to give my final thoughts on Guardian Games, how these events split the community in a bad way, Bungie's response to that, the information we got regarding Year 4, how I think this event could be improved upon in the future, and what we can expect for the rest of the season. When Bungie first announced this event, I was actually excited for this, being based around the Olympics which sadly got cancelled, and it being a chance to see which class is the best. But obviously that did not go the way I think majority of the community thought it would. The first day, we saw Hunters take the lead, as much as the community expected due to their high player count. But then the placement stayed the same after that, with Titans absolutely destroying everybody else for the remaining 3 weeks. Titans took so much control that the flags barely moved positions during the remainder of the event, with the Titan flag high on top, Warlocks staying in the middle the entire time, and then Hunters being dead last throughout the whole event. Now there was a lot of community split during this entire event, even after Bungie released the data to stop the rumors. Titans were caught glitching the system by depositing multiple medals with an internet connection glitch, and players soon caught on to deleting characters to deposit the free gold medal you get from talking to Ava. Now all of this was to believe somewhat true until Bungie said otherwise. Now Bungie actually released some data that the devs actually tested to see if the internet connection glitch and deleting characters for 1 gold medal was tipping the scales in Titan's favor. With these 2 graphs that you see, they said that the glitch was not actually counting towards the overall points for any class, and that players deleting characters to get the 1 gold medal from Ava was not tipping the scales in any significant way. It's also important to notice that in this specific graph, Titans were not the only ones that just switched. Hunters and Titans have a very significant correlation to Hunters not playing, and then the amount of players playing as Titans rising. So I think that it's very possible that because Titans were basically made for this event, it was so easy to create laurels and complete bounties. They were much easier than Hunters and Warlocks, that Hunters just switched classes entirely just so they can complete the bounties, get the laurels, and then get the machine gun. And then Warlocks just seem to stay steady the entire way. Next, we will get some information on Bungie's approach to Year 4 regarding Eververse and overall rewards. Some highlights are that Bungie's introducing Transmog into Destiny. Now if you don't know what Transmog is, it is a system where you can turn any armor piece you have ever collected, to have the look of your current gear while keeping stats of the gear you currently have on. So you can choose a gear for looks, and you can choose a piece of gear for the stats you want on it, mods and all. We have a similar system now, but even that feels limited. This system coming, quote unquote, sometime during Year 4 will be an improved version of the system we now have. Another is that Bungie is listening to our cry out for aspirational loot. Give us something to chase for. Stop making every single gun the same, or rewards that aren't worth grinding because everything is essentially the same. This is coming in Season 11, actually with the Season Pass armor being kept into aspirational activities instead of the Season Pass ranks. That's a great choice, I like it. And then Year 4 activities like raids, trials, and dungeons, they will be getting at least 1 accessory for us to pursue. As well as added weapons are finally coming to trials with new armor, not reskinned, and weapons. But that's in Season 13, which will be the winter to spring? Yeah, the winter to spring season. They also mentioned that the raid will have new armor, weapons, and exotic accessories. I hope they have new weapons, armor, and exotics, since it is a new raid, especially for an expansion. Another change to Eververse is that in Season 12, this fall's new expansion, ships, ghost shells, sparrows, and armor ornaments will no longer be sold, and current items that are now in the Eververse store will not be changing, as that would take too much time. As far as how I think this event could be improved upon if they decide to do this again next year, which honestly I hope they do. It was a fun event, I enjoyed it. This event had a lot of potential, but the execution of the laurel system and the bounty frustration pulled it under the water quite a bit. First off, I would get rid of the bounties entirely, like no bounties at all, and change how the medals work. Currently, the medals have you kill enemies, kill more enemies, and then make laurels within the different activities like strikes, gambit, crucible forges, and destinations. I think the medal should have objectives that make sense with the activity you are playing. For example, I would make strikes keep the completed strike requirement, have you do objectives with your specific class and strikes like orb generation for abilities, and that is just for every class in general. Like, don't make stupid objectives like hunters needing smoke bomb kills while titans only need melee and grenade kills. And then the gold medal could be complete a legendary Nightfall, which isn't match made, so you would have to find teammates for that one. For Gambit, I would do objectives that have you play like you're actually in Gambit. A lot of times I've seen players not pick up modes or just farm kills just to do the bounties or medals, and even I've done that almost every single time I needed to do the medal. I would have Gambit changed to have 100 modes deposited and at least 10 blockers, have a tier 3 Reckoning with all of the same class, and win a Gambit Prime match with a full set of the Gambit gear, so that could be Collector, Invader, Sentry, or Reaper. Crucible should also be counting towards objectives, not just kills, supers, and laurels generated. Say for one medal you could choose to either capture flags, defuse a bomb, win a rumble match, get the most kills in elimination or survival, and win the match. Anything to where you can play in any of the playlists and be able to make progression towards a medal. For forages, you could do something like deposit 50 of those balls, complete a forge within a time limit, defeat a certain number of yellow bar enemies, something like that. And destinations could be the most simple, having you do public events, adventures, lost sectors, just something more than killing enemies, complete a certain number of that activity, and create laurels. Something else that I think may help is how they judge allegiance for a class. It was stated that Bungie ran a report on players who played at least one activity 30 days prior to the event and then decided how they would do the medals and laurels. Now, one thing that I think they could have done better with this is run the reports on players within the last 30 days, but then run another report on those players within those 30 days what their class allegiance was within the last year. I can guarantee you a lot of people switched to Hunters whenever Trials came out, or even Titans, and then the player count rose significantly for Hunters, and that may have caused Bungie to slightly weigh their medals, which already caused a bunch of controversy within the community. If they would have run a report on the last 30-day players to see what class they made, even within the last 3 to 6 months, I think it would provide a much more accurate representation of class allegiance. Now, what I'm going to talk about next may be a spoiler for the rest of the season. Feel free to skip ahead to the posted timestamp on the screen. You have been warned. Now, as some of you may know, we are getting Felwinter's Live before the season ends, the infamous Iron Banner shotgun from Destiny 1. It will be a special quest involving Anna Bray and a mission called The Lie, where we return to Felwinter's Peak, which was the social space for the Rise of Iron DLC in D1. This was leaked on the R Destiny the Game Reddit a while ago. Currently, we do not know how we will receive this mission, but I can only guess it will be right after Guardian Games, so that it lasts the remaining 3 weeks of the season for us to obtain, but until then, this is all we know. Also on the r/raid secrets Reddit, there was a glitch where players were loading into an instance in the tower in which parts of it were destroyed. Now, it is logical to think that this is how the tower would look after the Almighty is taken down, with debris hitting different parts of the tower, and that makes sense. If we destroy the Almighty and nothing hits the tower, then it wouldn't feel as real or connected. I would expect this to actually take into effect next season, in Season 11, unless Bungie decides that we destroy the Almighty right after Guardian Games or the week after, so that the last week we have teasers leading up to Season 11 with the trailer of Saturn and the Pyramid ships. So those are all of my final thoughts for Guardian Games, a bunch of info we received for Year 4, and some interesting stuff for the rest of the season. Everything I talked about will be posted in the description for credit and if you want to go explore yourself. Thank you all for watching, and I hope to see you all in the next video. Also, check out other videos that I am making. Currently I'm playing Uncharted 4 to get into the mood for Naughty Dog, so whenever The Last of Us Part 2 comes out, I am as excited as ever to play and post as much as I can and as fast as possible. Have a great day everyone, and I will see you all in the world of Destiny.